Good morning and welcome to the Recovery Report Live. I'm Matt Sengsourinh, president of GlobalPro Florida, coming to you today from the Griffin studio right here at the Nucleus Hub. GlobalPro is your insurance coverage expert before, during, and after any loss or damage. The pedigree of our team, the extensive collective experience, our unwavering advocacy for our policyholders, and the deep care for our community makes GlobalPro uniquely qualified to represent over 1,400 community associations, hundreds of developers, builders, and contractors, thousands of business owners, and over the years, dozens and dozens of private clients and family offices. We have represented clients all over North America and the Caribbean. Our team, our process, our experience has resulted collectively in recovering over $1.2 billion in about the last 12 years. Today, welcome to another episode of the Recovery Report Live. Today, we're going to dive into a very crucial topic. I speak to boards all week, dozens a month in some instances. And one of the questions that always comes up is, it's kind of a chicken and an egg, right? Do they start the work? Do they not start the work? Can they perform the tasks necessary to recover fully from a rebuild perspective for the association? What is their fiduciary duty? How do they get things started? Do they go get bids? Do they not? All these questions come up, and ultimately, the basis is how do they start to physically recover? How do they start to show the association and their unit owners, that things are moving along, right? And it's the question that we get almost on every single claim, and it comes up several times. For massive, large losses that take months, sometimes 8, 9, 10, 12 months, the question comes up 3, 4, 5 times throughout that time period, and we have to navigate each time. Every decision, every point in that discussion is going to be different. But ultimately, it boils down to the policy, right? It boils down to basically the difference between RCV and ACV. So the difference between replacement cost value and actual cash value. It's a critical aspect of the insurance claims process, and understanding the difference can make all the difference. Okay, so let's get started on that. Let's understand RCV versus ACV first. So RCV, replacement cost value, represents the estimated cost of replacing or repairing damaged property. Okay, so you suffered a loss or damage. The association has several $1 million that they're facing in terms of damage and repair, and you have to properly value that damage and repair, what it's going to cost to replace that damaged property. Okay, materials, labor, everything gets contemplated and thought about and is included in this calculation. The goal, again, is to ensure that you bring the property back to pre-loss conditions, right? So the age, the condition, the expected useful life of the damaged property, these are all factors that need to be included and contemplated, and the insurance company needs to understand and get a very clear file, very clear estimate, supporting documentation, to prove, again, that loss and damage, okay? ACV is a little bit different. So ACV is the actual cash value. Okay, so typically an insurance company will want to pay ACV, right? So that's the RCV minus depreciation, okay? And why they do that is because they'd like to hold a percentage back, whether it's depreciation or whatever, to ensure that the work gets done. That's ultimately what their goal is here. But that's not the benefit of the policy. So of course, once the work gets started, once things start to move at the property physically, you put back drywall, you put back windows, doors, roofing, anything that's the association property, typically, and per law, per contract as well, the association is due the full benefit of the policy, and you will get paid for recoverable depreciation amongst other things. So hopefully you understand now the difference between RCV and ACV. Again, replacement cost value, how much it's going to cost to replace or repair that damage, and actual cash value, which is replacement cost value minus depreciation, and that's where we start the process here. So what's the significance, right? What's the significance? It's crucial to understand the difference. They both directly impact the insurance settlement. So you've gone through the mitigation part, right? You've been able to ensure that you've remediated anything that needs to be remediated, and now you're ready to rebuild the property. How does this affect settlement? Well, in that time period leading up to the chance or the opportunity to start rebuilding, hopefully, you've gotten a couple of payments, maybe an advance payment, a partial payment, an undisputed payment. Hopefully things are moving along in the process of adjusting the claim, and you're at that point now where you're going to affect settlement with your discussions and final documentation and anything else the insurance company needs to make payment. Again, the insurance company initially will pay you for, or make an offer for, I should say, an ACV payment, right? Actual cash value, which sometimes is significantly short of the actual cost of repair, right? The key point here is that most insurance policy provides an opportunity to recover the difference or the withheld depreciation or whatever else. Again, the difference between the replacement cost of value, how much it costs to repair and replace, versus what they pay you to get that started. If the repairs are completed, there is no reason that the insurance company shouldn't pay you for the difference. So, ultimately, I think that the thing to remember here, and it's something that is again comes up in conversation all the time, is that patience is a virtue, right? Patience is the key here. It's very, very hard. It's very, very difficult, especially when you have large associations where you have a board meeting where you have hundreds of people sometimes in there, and they're all asking questions. They all sometimes don't pay attention to each other, so they ask the same question in different ways multiple times. We've all sat through it if we're in the industry, and as board members, it's your job to get through some of that stuff, manage it, make sure that the narrative and the understanding of what's going on in the claims process is told and conveyed properly. And so that's part of, again, getting representation, but that's part of what we do, on our team. We ensure that those meetings go well, that you have the right information, and that the association can understand where they are. So again, the benefits of patience, really, really kind of support and help this entire situation. So how do we exercise patience? Okay, so I kind of broke that down into a couple of different parts here. We have 5 ways of trying to ensure that we're, the goal of being patient and affecting this entire situation in the most prudent, proper way, can happen. So first and foremost, let's start at the beginning, right? So you have to have a comprehensive damage assessment. Nothing can happen until, the association understands what they need to do to make the repairs or replace the components that have been damaged, the property. We have to sometimes triage some of those, components and damages at the property. Meaning, if it's life and safety, typically those need to be, addressed and taken care of first, right? Railings, any stairwells, anything that involves life and safety is of the utmost importance. Okay, rushing into a repair. When you don't have a proper plan and you haven't triaged the components or the parts of that repair, oftentimes, can lead to opportunity costs. It can lead to overlooking hidden damages. And these latent issues come up later. And sometimes they come up after potentially the claim is settled and closed and you don't have the right amount of money and the right budget. And it can be very frustrating and very stressful, after that. So again, first, we have the comprehensive damage assessment that needs to happen, right? If your association or the folks that you're working with on your team cannot do that, obviously we would point to having representation as the key factor here, and someone like the team here at GlobalPro, your insurance coverage experts, who are adept at this. And this is the first step, in our opinion, to being patient and prudent and meeting your fiduciary goal as a board member in protecting the association. Be patient, be patient, be patient. Ensure all the damage are thoroughly documented, assessed, and accurately estimated, okay? Now, accurately estimated. The accuracy is, again, the second part to this first couple of steps here. Starting repairs prematurely, again, leads to opportunity costs. Either you've under budgeted, you haven't recovered enough, and don't have the money in the end, or sometimes the insurance companies, and I shouldn't say sometimes, it often happens, sometimes the insurance companies will use that against the association, right? So say you need a full roof replacement. You've properly documented it, you've proven your damage, and you've gotten through the process that the association needs to get through to go through the bid process, right? You have 3 bids. You pick the like, kind, and quality bid, you sign the agreement, and you get everything in place to start the work. However, if you haven't properly estimated the accurate cost of labor and materials for your roof, and you sign a bid that's less than what you've claimed, you have an issue. There's an opportunity cost. Okay? So these are things that need to be understood. They need to be, communicated as part of your, representative, as part of your advocate. Again, we're going to help manage this process. We're going to help get through that and ensure that all of the questions, all of the issues and potential issues later are addressed, as properly as can be. And so you're not left with trying to understand why, if you're owed a certain amount of money, let's call it $10 million for a replacement of all your roofs at the association, but you signed a contract that was less, why the association's carrier now is saying, well, we only owe you for less, when in fact they owe you for RCV, they owe you for what they've insured. And you have to understand how to properly document that, describe it, and explain it to your insurance company, your insurer, so that they have to comply with their statutory and contractual obligations. It needs to happen, and you have to be able to understand that entire process. The adjustment of the claim is very, very difficult, right? We would always say never to go alone. It's too difficult, it's too complex, and you need to be comprehensive and accurate at the end of the day, okay? Now, complete damage assessment, accurate cost estimation. Third step, right, is to bubble all that up to culminate into maximizing your claim settlement. You need to be fully indemnified. I mentioned an unfortunate instance before where associations sometimes fall into that trap. We see insurers, I'm not going to name names, but I can name the top 5 right now, that love to play the game called delay. They delay. They ask for more information. They wait a couple weeks. They ask for more information. It's endless. They ask for, to inspect the books and records. They ask for EUOs. They ask for everything that they can in the policy, which I affectionately call pre-litigation. Right? They try to pre-litigate and bully the association, trying to force them into giving them information, not because we haven't proved the damages, right? Not because the association hasn't given them an accurate cost estimate that's comprehensive of the damage and the repair, not because of any of that, just because they can take advantage of the contract because it is stacked against you as an insured, unfortunately, right? So, but you need to, again, have a comprehensive damage assessment that has accurate cost estimation, and you need to use that to maximize your claim. And in this instance, again, going back to the same old adage, which is you need to find proper representation, right? Engage an expert. Engage an insurance coverage expert like the GlobalPro team. Take time to go through the whole entire adjustment of the claim with them. We're going to show you how to meticulously assess the damage, the repairs, things like loss of use, things like personal property, business personal property. All these things need to be properly identified, documented, again, assessed, and then valued, and it needs to be presented in a very organized, very clear manner. It's too hard, especially after a catastrophic event like a Category 4 or 5 storm, to get through all this stuff for an association. And oftentimes, I say it all the time, oftentimes the property management company, the on-site CAM, is overwhelmed. They have the hardest job in the world. Adding a catastrophic event like that makes it exponentially, harder. Right? So you need someone who can come in and be objective, push where it needs to be pushed, get the right information, and get it all done. You need to do all these things, okay? Ultimately, to avoid a financial burden, which I said is one of the worst case scenarios, right? Assess the damage comprehensively, accurately provide a cost estimation, make sure you have proper representation in doing all that, and avoid the financial burdens. Again, rushing into repairs without having a full indemnification or understanding what the budget's going to be, you might get stuck with unexpected costs. I can tell you things that happen all the time. We have a major loss where the association actually got paid for the full roof replacement, and we were able to adjust the claim quickly. They recovered for the full roof replacement. It's a small percentage of the entire claim, but this component in particular needed to happen quickly because we were going into storm season again. And the question that came up later was the GC and the folks that are hired, the experts that are hired to come and replace the roofs, right? Basically came in, assessed the actual tasks that needed to happen, and what they found was they needed to take all of the packaged AC units off of the pedestals, take the pedestals out, and replace the units. But the question came up, how much is that going to cost, right? They got bids that were wide-ranging. I mean, totally multiples apart. One team could come in, take off the air handlers, take off the pedestals, do the roof, and put everything back within 24 to 36 hours, right? That was a certain cost. Another team had to come in, and they wouldn't have been able to do that. They basically said that they would have to get the team in there to take the pedestals and the AC handlers off, the roof tasks, the activities need to be completed to replace the roofs, and they would be back within a week. So what happens in that 5 to 6 day time range? You got to get portable AC. You got to get other vendors in there to come and make sure that the property is ventilated and cooled down. So these are things that come up later, unfortunately. And if, again, you don't properly understand the tasks, the repairs, the vendors that are involved, the process of doing all that, you're going to get hit with charges potentially from vendors that you're not going to expect. And that's a tough position to be in, okay? So again, being patient throughout the adjustment of the process, talking to your experts, talking to the folks that are representing you, especially if it's us, hopefully leads to better decision-making, more educated decision-making, and it gives you a chance to again, be as prudent as possible and to protect the association's property, okay? And that's meeting your fiduciary duty. So again, to kind of wrap all that up, it is absolutely crucial to understand the difference between RCV and ACV, replacement cost value versus actual cash value. For condo associations in Florida, to navigate these complex, very comprehensive type of claims, it's extremely difficult. So by working closely, again, with representation, and in particular the insurance coverage expert here at GlobalPro, I think you get a lot of these, the steps that I mentioned today, that I described today, a lot of these things done quicker, more accurately, and more comprehensively. We're taking a 360-degree approach, right? And then we're always there to help guide through some of these decisions and guide through some of these conversations with the association. Look, we all know here at GlobalPro what it feels like to sit in front of sometimes on Zoom, sometimes on Teams, but to sit in a room at a board meeting where there's hundreds, dozens of people in front of you that are a part of the association, that are unit owners, that have a genuine concern about their property. And it's very difficult to navigate those conversations and to give them the right information to ensure that they understand where we are in the process, why we're doing the things that we're doing, the strategy behind some of those things, and the reason why it affects settlement in the manner it does, and why it's to the advantage of the association, and how that translates to the board and their representatives that they've chosen and retained, how it translates to them meeting their fiduciary duty to protect the association. So again, if you ever have any questions, if you ever want to learn more about this, you can always call us here at GlobalPro. It's easy. The number is 855-487-7475. Ask for a team member here, and we're happy to get on a call and talk through some of your issues and some of your concerns. The best thing to do is to send an email to support@globalpro.com as well, and we can again schedule a call, but we'll ask you for certain bits of information that we will need to give you a more direct and specific answer to some of your questions, which should be a much more beneficial and fruitful conversation. But again, we're always available. The team stands 24/7, 365. We stand ready to assist at any moment. Okay. So with that, that wraps up our discussion today. Hopefully you learned a little bit more and gave you, hopefully gave you some confidence here to be patient, to understand some of the parts of this whole entire process when adjusting a claim and affecting settlement, to maximize your recovery. Again, please reach out to us anytime. But ultimately, thank you again for joining us today on the Recovery Report Live. If you found this episode helpful, please be sure to subscribe, follow, and like. Check out our social media and LinkedIn. We have a ton of information all over those social media platforms and on our website. So please check us out, globalpro.com. Don't hesitate to reach out with any question or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes as well. I'm always open. If you want to come on, let us know. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. And ultimately, remember, if you, your association, your business, or your home suffers loss and damage, always call us first. Always call the insurance coverage experts at GlobalPro first. We'll handle it from the beginning to the end. Don't get caught in a situation where innocently you've made a misstep or you've said something incorrectly or innocently described the damage incorrectly. There's no need when you have great folks that can help you out here at GlobalPro. Okay? So thank you again for joining us. Join us next week. Don't forget, right here at the Griffin Studio at the Nucleus Hub. Same time, same channel. See you soon. Every Thursday at 11 a.m. Take care. I can't forget about today's kick check, so let me show you the heat on the feet today. It's a little special, Mr. Tom Sachs, little moon shoes. I'm ready to go. Mr. Elon Musk, give me a call. Let's go do this. Thank you.